guess it's Bristol, Tennessee, and Bristol, Virginia.
Yeah, we're actually on the Virginia side. Look at the maps.
So once you cross the street, that's
Yeah, that's what's called Twin Cities.
Hello, rail friends. Brian said, we're here, the Twin Cities. Virginia, this side. Tennessee, that side. Bristol, in both. Right?
Yep, that's right.
How confusing is that? I can stand in the middle of the road, 1 foot in 2 different states, and I'm in the same town name in both. I would not want to work at the post office here. Hey everybody, Brian, Jesse, and I, we have made it to official camera on spot 3. Unofficial camera off spot 5. But as we've made our way coming on up, it's been rain, it's been fog, and then it got dark. The tunnel was a washout. Long story, but trust me, no tunnel today. And then our next stop at, where were we going to go second?
We were going to go to Bull Gap.
That's right, Bull's Gap. See what happens? I got that old memory thing again going on. Bull's Gap, dark as could be, there at the incredibly nice depot that they have. So we decided on our way to catch the CSX Santa Train tomorrow, on our way to the Western Front Hotel, where I cannot wait to have dinner in their lobby restaurant. Let me tell you, incredible. Thought about it for a year. I'm going to make sure we get there before 9:30 tonight, one way or another. Now, it's raining here. It's kind of So we've done the best that we can at this beautiful, beautiful, incredible depot. Brian and Jesse are going to tell you a little bit more about the area here in a little bit. We do think we're going to try and catch at least one train here. Not the most, what do I want to say, perfect setup. We are on the back side of the rail because the track, as you know, at the depot is literally at the end where the safety line is, and it's right there. And with it being this dark at night, anything's just going to be one huge white blur when it comes by. So we're going to catch one from underneath the awning. Like I said, it's raining, so we got to keep the equipment dry. Otherwise, y'all are going to have even less to see. So anyhow, Casey and I want to welcome you officially to Bristol, Virginia, Norfolk Southern Yard, just down here at the end of the depot here. Jesse's coming in out of the rain, all covered up, aren't you? So, going to get you back up on the sign. We'll talk a little bit more about the area. I got a post to put up. If you all watch that post, you'll see some of the pictures on the other side in the rain of where we are. But like I said, we are at just a beautiful depot here in Bristol. Everybody, good to see you on this Friday night, 21st of November, 2025. Hello, Nate. How are you tonight?
I got paper towels if you need. You need
paper towels? Alright, everybody, we made the post. Y'all can see some of those pictures. Good to see y'all. Hello, Chuck. We made it. You ready? Tell you what, while we are waiting, because we do have a train coming, you might want to come over here, that way you're not in the wind and everything. We're still hanging out with Jesse and Brian on our trip. And it has been adventurous, let me tell you. Oh, hey, if y'all need plumbing and you're in the area, State Line Plumbing can solve your problems, just in case you were wondering. Anyhow, I've been here once before. Brian knows this place like he was born here. So everybody, Brian from Trained Up Productions is here with us, and he's going to tell you all about our area where we are.
Well, I've been reading upon this place for years and seeing pictures, and of course, what stuck out to me was the neon sign right on the road. That's basically the state line, so that's why they call it State Road. Now, what's interesting, and you can also see this in my production roll when I get it uploaded on the road trip video, so be on the lookout for that. 3 named trains were handled by both railroads here. You had the Birmingham Special, you had the Tennessean, and you had the Pelican. Now, there was also local trains, but they were handled separately. But I'm going to give you a lowdown on the 3 named trains that ran through here. So the Birmingham Special, is basically from New York to Birmingham. So that there was 2 trains that ran each way. That would actually be exchanged right here whenever the passenger trains made it. So you had that one. Now the Tennessean, which is another train that was handled between the 2 railroads, also happened here as well. And of course she had the Pelican, which I believe was a New York to New Orleans train. So Norfolk and Western would bring it down here, hand it off to the Southern. The Southern would take it all the way to New Orleans on their own track. So seeing upon this, because there's actually a train board that's just right down there, it's kind of interesting that they preserve a piece of history to say, hey, this is what was here. But not only that, how often do you see a train station with a preserved watershed? There's not that many left. I've been to a few places, where the building is still standing, but the watershed's gone. This is a neat trademark that harkens back to the days of the golden era of passenger trains. People would be standing right on this very platform and would basically wait, for the train to come in. So this was how travel was back in the day. You did it by rail. The cars didn't really come into use until sometime in the late 50s and 60s when you had the automotive boom, as they would tell you, along with the airline boom when everybody was wanting to fly or drive or take a bus. Rail travel was the mainstay back then. So it's nice that a piece of history has been preserved, even if they're maybe using it for an entertainment venue for dinners or anything. But to see a piece of history like this still intact always makes me smile that certain cities do care about their railroad history. This being a railroad town, divided by a street over here. So kind of a neat artifact to see that. Right now we're actually waiting on a train to show up. We've been hearing it right on the feed there, so we're hoping to at least see one before we continue on our road trip. So glad to be a part of this. Glad Mike is getting to do this. We've been telling him, hey, you got to see these places. They're really cool. So he's all smiles. He's been enjoying his road trip so far, and I'm glad to see that. So guys, I hope you're enjoying your evening and all that. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready, for whenever this train shows up.
Thanks, Brian. Train Up Production, you guys. Make sure you check out his channel, and you can tell his love of the railroad just by the feel and the intensity that he puts into all that information that he has. Now this is looking all the way down, both underneath, as you heard him say, the watershed, where you guys can stand out here with your luggage back in the 20s and 30s and 40s and whenevers, hauled around on that little wooden cart right there as they took it out to your train. Now, because it is so overcast, our signal is a little touchy. So just to make sure we don't lose you, we are going to look at the old schedule board that he mentioned, but we're going to wait and use that as the close. We'll take a little field trip. You guys will get your seatbelts on, and we'll go down and take a look at it, and we will close with that. But I don't want to lose the signal because, like I said, it's very, very touchy where we are. So we're back on the passenger side. We're behind the safety line. We're behind the gates. And we are going to try and catch one train as we continue our trip up to St. Paul, Virginia for the 2025 CSX Santa Train. And for those of you that are wondering, yes, that is a distillery right next to the sign, where, as you can see, on the right-hand side of the sign, you are in Tennessee. If you're on the left-hand side of that sign, where we are, Brian, Jesse, and I are all in Virginia. Now, if we get in too much trouble, Tony, we don't have to worry about getting those shirts together to get ourselves out of trouble. We can just run across the street and we're in somebody else's jurisdiction. So, we have an action plan just in case we have to. And for those of you wondering, what is tomorrow's schedule? Gee, should I go ahead and run on up to Virginia or Kentucky or Tennessee? Tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., the 2025 CSX Santa Train will leave Shelby, Kentucky at 6 a.m. So if you want to get in the Christmas spirit early, and when I say early, not only in November, but at 6 in the morning, where these two guys will probably be there before the train, I won't. But 6 a.m. is Shelby, Marrowbone at 6:20 a.m., and then Elkhorn City at 7:05. As our noisy car goes by. And the Santa Train will then pass into Virginia, where it'll hit Tom's Bottom at 7:45 in the morning. Haysai, which is it, Jesse? Haysai, Virginia at 8:07. Klingsco, 8:40 in the morning. Fremont, 9:08. Dant. Depends if you're from France or not. Dant at 10:08. Because with that spelling, if you're in France, it is not Dant. St. Paul, where I'll be at 10:53 tomorrow morning. Dungannon, 12:03. Fort Blackmore, 12:48. Kermit. And if you're all going to go find Kermit, the name for the area is on a tree. So don't expect a big sign. It's just kind of on a top of a hill, which is where many of these places are that they stop tomorrow. And Waycross at 2:20. And the grand finale back in Kingsport, Tennessee is scheduled for 2:58 tomorrow afternoon. And again, tomorrow afternoon is November 22nd, 2025. And it is currently 7:40 p.m. here. As we get ready for the excitement, I'll kind of give you a little look around. Like I said, we're going to try and catch at least a train while we're here. We are, like I said, on the back side of the safety rail, so we're just kind of taking a little look around while we're waiting. We did hear a horn a little while ago, or a little bit ago, so and because it's raining and blowing, we're kind of on this side. And you can see those are the southbound signals. And we are right at the point where the Norfolk Southern Pulaski District ends and the Norfolk Southern Bristol Line begins. Norfolk Southern Pulaski District, milepost 408. And as I said, the Norfolk Southern Bristol Line, milepost 0. So we're just right on the edge of everything. I didn't know for the train teams, as they get to this point, the NS location is right behind us at the yard. That's where the train crews do their switch as they come north and southbound. So it's a great, great location to railfan at. And you get some time with the trains. Hello, Jonathan. How are you tonight? Like I said, we are underneath the canopy here in downtown Bristol. Even though it's raining, blowing, and we are around 60 degrees. Not too cold, but that dampness does make it realistic. Gives you that feel of Thanksgiving just around the corner. There's production 6. Parked here at the depot in the front. I look back towards town. Like I said, we are kind of tucked up here in the protected area due to the rain and wind that we have tonight. Should it stop raining, we'll move locations, but right now, that is not an option. We kind of play around a little bit with the different settings. Like I said, we are expecting a northbound. So if y'all want to put your seatbelts on, let me see if I can get it set up here a little bit differently on the track. So y'all hang on. We're going to take a little move. Where you let's see if I can get you focused in. All right, that is looking southbound from our location. So we're going to listen carefully for that horn. Our Bristol signs over there. Like I said, we are on the Virginia side tonight. And there's a look back towards town. Clothing shops, theaters, restaurants, all kinds of cool places along there. Clear night. as far as the rain has just cleansed all the air and made it crisp and clear, as you can see in that picture. Foggy and overcast up above. Kind of cool. There's a rooftop on that building all lit up. And I said, we had planned a 5-stop day total today, but between the weather and all, we only got to do 3 of the 5. There's the Citizens Bank. Anybody low on money? Just stop by. This is a busy, busy crossing because of the fact that everybody, all the tourists come over and want to take pictures and stand in the middle of the street where you are in 2 states at once. And lots of people walk through here, and it is a great place to visit to train watchers. Plenty of parking across on the other side, and a great view. And for those of you just joining, Brian with Train Nut Productions. We're all traveling together along with Jesse from Whistleboard Productions. And NS Rail Yard Bristol. A very, very historical spot here in Bristol, VA/TN, Virginia and Tennessee. And previously it was the Norfolk and Western Railway. And behind us, or were we under the cover of, the Bristol Union Station, which is part of the old rail yard complex here. It's a restored event venue now. So if you like trains and you're ready to get married, have a party, retire, be senior, be young, whatever kind of party you'd like, this is a 2-story, huge complex. So, a great place to plan an event. All restored, as you all heard Brian talk. But don't take my word for it, or Brian's. Come check out this beautiful depot and this incredible town. Everybody I've met on my last 2 trips here is just fantastic. So, we're going to hang out here for a little bit. We're going to hope we catch us at least one northbound before we roll on up to the Western Front Hotel in St. Paul, Virginia, where dinner is awaiting. And in case you were wondering what year, 1902, the Bristol Union Station, once a very key passenger location, was built here. Maybe one day, if we're lucky, we'll be able to come up here and board the Amtrak as we await a northbound train. Hello, Michigan on Wheels. Glad to have you on. How's everything up there in the great state of Michigan?
Hey, how's things?
Well, Brian got all excited when he heard Michigan. I didn't hear the second part. I was too busy thinking about cold, snow, and freezing conditions.
Michigan's my birth state.
Oh, Brian was born in Michigan. How cool is that? So when you ask him where he's from, he's going to hold his hand up, and then he's going to relate the state to his thumb, and he's going to point right here, and then you're going to know what part of Michigan he was in. Good to have you on tonight. Thanks. Like I said, we're on our trip north to St. Paul for the CSX Santa Train tomorrow. The 83rd time that train has made that historic trip up the old Clinchfield. And we hope to share it with you tomorrow. Weather there tomorrow is questionable, at least for the first part of the day, with, last I heard, 60% rain. You looking at the menu or are you looking at the weather?
No, I was looking at an old picture that was taken here a long time ago.
Oh, Brian's looking at historical pictures from where we're standing. Good to have everybody on there. Like I said, this is a stop on our way north. Oh, how cool.
So those are,
Right
so
there.
Yeah, there's multiple tracks. There's even the signal right there.
Alan, I'm reading your note. Looks like rain will end after 10 a.m. tomorrow morning in St. Paul. That would be fantastic, because I've been thinking since I've shot there the last 2 years, plan A, plan B, and plan C based on the weather.
Oh, wow.
Uh-oh, he must have seen another picture because he just got an oh wow. That's right where we are.
Yeah, yeah, just looking around. What's neat about it is there's a crossing control tower that's set up. Pinterest. I don't know if
We may not get Brian out of here tonight at all. He's found some really, really cool old passenger service pictures from literally where we're standing. I see Jesse returning from across the parking lot there. Somewhere. Where'd he go? He's behind the bush. There he is. He's back.
I'm back.
That's Brian showing you those cool pictures he found.
good old ladies.
Where did you go? Where did you go?
Down the road a little bit.
I feel underdressed with you two. I have a message for you. See? If we can just keep him out of trouble now.
Try hard.
And Tony, let me tell you our plan. Tony, we've come up with a plan. Okay, Tony, we've come up with a plan. We have given out too many shirts today along the way. So if we get in trouble, there's no way we can horse trade shirts for our release. So what we're going to do, if we get in trouble, we're going to scatter. We're going to go 3 different ways, and we're going to yell as we go, the guy in the yellow jacket did it. And then they can figure out which one of us, and that's the unlucky one, but the other 2 are going to escape because we do look the same. I know, you can't make this up, can you? But anyhow, the guy in the yellow jacket did it. And if y'all can't tell, yes, we all do work at the same place together. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, Chuck saw it. He probably getting a laugh.
For those of you into football, best of luck to your team tomorrow. Whoever it may be. I have learned to stay out of sports, politics, and religious conversations. But I do wish all of you luck with your team tomorrow. And make sure you all root for Georgia, because if they lose, I have to live with Chuck for a whole week, because he also hangs out at the auction with us. He's the 3rd shift guy that makes sure that 1st shift and 2nd shift stays out of trouble. Hey, I didn't say the plan would work. I just said that we have a plan, so we will take our luck and run in case we have to do that. It's good to see everybody tonight. Don't forget, Catch of the Week. Join us every Sunday night live from the studio at 5:30. And we see submissions from all over the country. Just send yours, videos up to 30 seconds with no music or stills, to railmoments.com. Just like going to the mailbox, drop it in. railmoments.com. We actually saw a brand new rail grinding the entire unit on a series of train cars that's being shipped to Brazil, and it was going to the port. Brian sent that in from Texas, so you never know what you're going to see on Sunday night. Hope everybody's ready for Thanksgiving. 6 days to go. The answer, days to Christmas, Ray, 34. Days to Thanksgiving, 6. Days to the next Railfan event in Collin, Tennessee, about 4 months. We can talk Brian into a March event. I know the Railfan event in the Magic City in Irondale is going to be in March of 2026. Aiden's already working on his new design. And all kinds of fun things for us to do as we look at the double tracks facing southward. Oh, the Friday night traffic rolling through. All right, we're going to get brave and try and show you the old schedule board. Hopefully we don't make a mistake by doing this, because signal is a little touch and go up here. But since we're waiting on our, because there was a mechanical involved with one of our trains that are coming up our way, which would be northbound to us. As you can see, everything going south is still red. I'm going to attempt and hope I do not lose you, and if I do, we'll rush back here. Don't go anywhere. We'll reconnect, but let's go take a look at that old schedule board. So y'all put your seatbelts on. Here we go, unless, like I said, hope this works out. I am not making any promises. We gotta squeeze through a little opening here. But this is kind of cool. Brian was telling you all about this. Because of the powerful lens that we have on, let's see if I can maybe angle this a little bit so you can see more of it. Norfolk and Western Railway and the Southern Railway. Times here. Eastern Standard. And that is the date of September 15th, 1951. How cool is that? Like I said, so I could get the whole board on for you to see. As y'all heard, for those of you just joining, Brian kind of gave you all a rundown just a little while ago. The Birmingham special, New York to Birmingham, and Birmingham back to New York, and then the local, the Pelican, New York to New Orleans. Can you just imagine how enjoyable that train trip would be? The Tennessean, Memphis to New York, Bristol to Roanoke, New York to Memphis, and New Orleans back with the Pelican. Those are the train numbers and the times. Going back to 1951. Do you remember where you were on September 15th, 1951? And we were talking about the watershed, how well restored and upkept everything is, all the drain pipes in place, and way down there, that is all undercover, all the way down for the platform. So there is lots and lots of room. There's our Bristol sign. We have some chatter on the channel. And this is looking back to where we were just a little bit ago, where production 6 is on the front courtyard, the drive-through there. And like I said, we'd like to squeeze one more train in to our day. Hopefully we can do that before we make our way on up to St. Paul. Ray, you all ready for Christmas? Dad, thanks for being on. Everybody, make sure you subscribe. If you have a good time, tell everybody you know. If you have a bad time, don't tell anybody. Just call everybody you know and tell them you had a good time. Tell the neighbor, even if you don't know them. Hey, check out Rail Moments. We hoped to be at 2,200 subscribers by tomorrow morning before we see the Santa Train pull into St. Paul. So we're going to go ahead and move back to where we were. So y'all sit tight. I'm going to try and not jolt you or juggle you or drop you. Whoops, I ran into the wall. Oh, did it twice, I'm sorry. And coming back around our corner, I'm gonna set y'all up here so you can look south, and then I'm gonna see how we're doing on weather conditions. If we're still raining, or if we're gonna have to stay here under the cover on this November night. Well, everybody, it's barely raining, so we're going to risk it. We're going to go for a little field trip out here with you. Just so you kind of see. Alright, I gotta get y'all leveled back off, so y'all just sit tight with me here for a moment. Like I said, when you do live, it is what it is as you do it. No editing or corrections. So it is, as it is, you can see, it is dark out here. But that is looking south. Those are the two control towers for the southbound traffic. Here's a look back at town, as we had talked about earlier. There's the sign here in front. Bristol Train Station. Virginia and Tennessee. Weddings, business, and special events. Now, you can see just how beautiful it is here on our third live today. Our fifth stop, but the other two weathers were so bad. But next a look down. And here's taking a look northward. And I said this is a 2-story depot. But you can see as Brian was talking how long the passenger section is, the watershed here. Like I said, second story runs along the top. And right, you can just barely see it. It's kind of behind the tree. Right there is the Bristol sign, right behind that tree. We'll get a better view of it before we leave. Looking down that way, the NS yard is just down. You can see it down where the train cars are out in the yard. That is the NS rail yard there. Where you are currently standing in Bristol, Virginia. If you go over there in the middle of that street, you will be standing in Bristol, Tennessee. And if you don't believe me, there is the sign that says so. So, I guess at this point, since we are running out of time, we still have some travels yet to go, everybody. We were hoping, but there's a maintenance issue or a train having an issue just south of us that's tying things up. So I think at this point and it's starting to rain again. So at this point, we're gonna go ahead and pack up. Tomorrow, the 22nd, 2025 Santa Train. We'll be probably picking up in St. Paul, Virginia, based upon the weather conditions. So everybody, from Jesse and Brian and myself, be ready for tomorrow. We should have a great time. We're gonna go ahead and start getting ready to head on up to the Western Front Hotel. See y'all at the next